All right, welcome back to the channel. It's your boy Fanon, and in this video, we're going to talk about what Danny Garcia had to say about Errol Spence, Terence Crawford, and also Jermell Charlo. Let's do that in this video. All right, welcome back to the channel. It's your boy Fanon. In this video, we're going to be talking about what the Terence Crawford Errol Spence Jr. fight and the prediction that Danny Garcia has made, as well as Jonathan Banks. Also, Jermell Charlo, and the fact that Danny Garcia is now joined a litany of people calling out for Jermell Charlo at 154 pounds. But before I get into that, let me welcome you back to the channel. If you are new to the channel, thank you so much for thank you for watching the channel and the video. If you like it, make sure you hit that subscribe button, hit that bell icon so you can be notified of when we release more videos. And if you are a longtime subscriber or return viewer, thank you so much for continuing to watch the channel. And make sure y'all hit that like and that subscribe, hit that like button and that share button on your way out the door. So, all right, so let's get into this, man. Danny Garcia, former 140-pound unified champion, 147-pound WBC, former 147-pound WBC champion, who has fought both Errol Spence Jr. and fought Terence Crawford. He fought Errol in the pros. He fought Terence Crawford in the amateurs. Had some real interesting things to say about the fight between the two. And he also talked about what he's going to do at 154 pounds. Jermell Charlo got a dance card 5 miles long. Literally, I think Jermell Charlo may be the most targeted fighter in all of boxing right about now. You've got Terence Crawford saying that he wants to fight him. Now you have Danny Garcia saying he's looking for him. You got Keith Thurman wanting to move up and fight him. You've got Sebastian Fundora that wants to fight him. You've got Tim Tszyu that wants to fight him. And you've got this other guy whose name I cannot pronounce, Russian guy, also in line to fight him. So at least five guys deep, all vying to get a spot to fight Jermell Charlo for the undisputed title at 154 pounds. Danny Garcia is moving up and fighting Jose Benavidez in his next fight. If you're not familiar with Jose Benavidez is the brother of David Benavidez, the 168-pound former WBC champion, actually former two-time WBC champion, that is positioning himself for a fight with Canelo Alvarez or Jermell Charlo if Jermell Charlo moves up from 160 to 168. So Danny Garcia is moving up into that weight class and says his target is Jermell Charlo, a fight that I think probably will happen. And I wouldn't doubt it would be a very, very good fight, man. Danny Garcia is a very solid fighter, a good fighter. So I do believe that he'll be able to beat Jose Benavidez, and that will be really interesting to see how he looks with Jose Benavidez and if he can do what he said he wants to do with Benavidez, which is knock him out, whether or not he'll be able to do that quicker or more efficiently than Terence Crawford did. Now, as far as because everybody's being asked the question about Errol and Terence and who he thinks would win, especially now Danny Garcia, because Danny Garcia has been in the ring with both of those guys. Errol fought Errol for his WBC title coming off of that car accident about 2 years ago. Fought Danny Garcia, beat him by unanimous decision in pretty much a one-sided, what I believe to be a one-sided boxing clinic. Errol was not fighting him on the inside, trying to wear him down, any of that type of stuff. He fought pretty much from the outside. With a stiff jab, going to the body, moving, keeping his distance, watching Danny Garcia's, being very careful for Danny Garcia's counter punching, which, Danny Garcia does very, very well. He will definitely catch you, especially with that no look left hook. Will definitely clean your clock with that if he can get his hands on with you, but he wasn't. And Errol won the fight. Danny had fought Terence Crawford in the amateurs and he went 1-1 with Terence Crawford in the amateurs. Danny said he felt like he won both fights, but he said, but it was 1-1. And so his opinion about the fight with Errol Spence Jr. and Terence Crawford, I thought all these guys' opinions are solid opinions. But again, almost everybody is really, really on the fence about who's going to win the fight and not wanting to go one direction or another, really. And Danny Garcia actually did not go either way. He said at the end of the day, it's going to be who's the most confident and who's going to show up and really have the best game plan strategy that day. And on that day, either one of those guys can win, that they're that evenly matched. He said that he believed that that Errol Spence Jr. was the bigger, stronger welterweight, and that Terence Crawford was the more talented of the fighters, and had, probably threw the shorter punches. So it's really just going to depend on, where they are, in that fight. Me personally, listening to what he said, I was like, yeah, I can see that as far as why people would think that Terence Crawford is the more talented fighter, because people that move like for example, what Gennady Golovkin said. Gennady Golovkin was like, I like that style. It's hard to get out of what he's, really hard to get the proper translation out of him. But he said he liked the style. Same way that a lot of other people talk about the style of Terence Crawford and just the mobility of Terence Crawford, and taking that mobility over a guy that to them looks like he's just, kind of moving forward and plodding forward. Same thing that I think, that Canelo Alvarez talked about, just said he thought that, that Terence Crawford's style, and that he was just, a little bit better of a fighter. I think that when people see how well-rounded Terence Crawford is and has been able to exhibit that over time, I don't think that's an unrealistic, I don't think that's I wouldn't say unrealistic, unreasonable view. For me, though, I'm taking the more of the pressure fighter, the guy that listened to where Danny Garcia said this, and this is the part that I really liked about Danny Garcia. Danny Garcia was like, yeah, if Errol can go out there and he can use that jab and winds up being up over 6 rounds, after 6 rounds, I'll take Errol Spence Jr. in that fight. But if Terence can get in the flow and really get in the flow and be able to do things with Errol very, very early, then I would take Terence Crawford in that fight, right? For me, I don't see Terence Crawford getting in a flow early in that fight. I see Errol Spence Jr. racking up points in that fight by using that jab and fighting behind that jab, and doing it in a way where he is not really opening himself up to Terence Crawford. Or if he does opens himself up to Terence Crawford, he'll be able to then engage with Terence on the inside. That's the way that I see it going about, because that's what I've seen Errol Spence Jr. do to everybody that I've seen him fight, is get off to a fast start. Even though some people say, Errol gets off to a slow start, I don't see that. To me, he starts fast, but he starts fast with the jab. He starts fast with right hands and is engaging from the beginning of the fight. Moving forward in the fight, once he's able to get inside, then he really picks it up and starts, or people with those body shots really start breaking down, and then he's able to do stuff and really put punishment on in the second half of the fight. What Terence Crawford is, the thing that makes me feel uncomfortable about Terence, from Terence's point of view, is the pot shot nature of it, and looking and thinking he's just going to find a really big shot to wobble Errol, and then jump on and finish Errol like that. May happen, may not happen. But anyway, I just think it's all really good conversations. Hopefully we get this fight done soon so we can actually, see the fight. And then hopefully also PBC should be announcing the fights for the rest of the year, so we can kind of get over this little bit of a boxing drought we're in. Anyway, that's my take on the matter. You let me know what you think in the comment section. And with that, I'm out. Peace.